Coming up, the Belmont is over and the Empire stands tall in New York. That helps Bobby Frankel get the Triple Crown monkey off his back. On the other side, it did rain on Funnyside's parade, ending the dream of the elusive Triple Crown. The action and reaction from Belmont 135 next on Long John Silver's Wire to Wire.
Long John Silver's Wire to Wire, presented by Citgo.
I think that picture says it all. Was it that bad at Belmont Park?
A miserable day at Belmont. It rained almost all day. It held the crowd down from the anticipated 120,000, which would have been a record, down to around 101,000, but it didn't really dampen their enthusiasm. I mean, the crowd loudly cheering for Funnyside to become racing's 12th Triple Crown winner. What a story it would have been. What a story he is anyway.
Yeah, but the streak goes on. 26 years now. Longest stretch without a Triple Crown winner in history. Here's the Belmont.
In the 135th Belmont Stakes, Empire Maker broke alertly. Scrimshaw right there, and Funnyside off to a very sharp beginning. And those three scrimmaging for the lead as they move into the clubhouse turn. Dine Ever and 10 Most Wanted just in behind, running 4th and 5th. 5 lengths back to Longshot Supervisor. Funnyside and Scrimshaw. Funnyside on the outside. Scrimshaw toward the inside, and a change in tactics here for Funnyside today. A change of tactics from the Derby and the Preakness. He is going to be the early leader. Funnyside in front as they round the sweeping clubhouse turn here at Belmont Park. Scrimshaw will sit back in second. And Empire Maker and Jerry Bailey, they broke from the rail, but now they're on the outside. And they are tracking Funnyside intently as they make their turn into the backstretch now. Then only 3 lengths behind the front runners. On the outside is 10 Most Wanted, followed by Dine Ever to his inside. 6 lengths back to trailing Supervisor. The quarter in 23 and 4. The half in 48 and 3/5 seconds. Honest enough. The leader is Funnyside, tracked by his arch rival, Empire Maker, on the outside, glued to him as they continue their run down the backstretch. Scrimshaw's not far behind. He's third toward the inside. Dine Ever now gets a little nudge from Edgar Prado. 10 Most Wanted on the outside, sitting chilly. They're halfway through the Belmont. They've run 3 quarters in 1:13 and 2. And it's Funnyside and Empire Maker 1-2. Scrimshaw, Gary Stevens asking a bit more from him. He's down toward the inside. Dine Ever, 10 Most Wanted, well within striking range as the field moves into the far turn. It's Funnyside still holding that lead. The imposing presence of Empire Maker right alongside. They've been 1-2 throughout. They enter the final half mile together. And now Bailey makes his move with Empire Maker. He is at the front latch of Funnyside. Funnyside and Empire Maker. There's nothing between them. And at the midway point on the far turn, Empire Maker pokes his head in front. Emboldened by that challenge, Funnyside fights right back. And 10 Most Wanted right there in behind them with Pat Day as the field turns for home in the Belmont. And it is Empire Maker on the outside. Santos has gone to the whip on Funnyside. Empire Maker a short lead. Funnyside is doing his best, but he's dropping back. And here comes Pat Day, and he's coming with 10 Most Wanted. Funnyside has dropped back to third, down to the final 100 yards of the Belmont. Empire Maker Jerry Bailey asking him for everything he has. 10 Most Wanted right there with him. Here's the wire, and Empire Maker has won the 135th Belmont Stakes.
The Firm was the last to win the Triple Crown in 1978. 9 horses since then have come to the Belmont with a chance to win the Triple Crown. They are 0 for 9. Bobby Frankel finally wins a Classic. Empire Maker now has a 2-1 lead in the series over Funnyside. Both horses get a break, and for Empire Maker, it's redemption after finishing second in the Kentucky Derby.
Well, it's just that everybody, as soon as you get beat, they think he's not as good as he is, and now he's back on the top of the heap again, so that's all I wanted. I wanted him to prove that he's the best 3-year-old around.
What was the key to the win today?
Well, just going into the first term, and Jerry got him outside of Funnyside, and he had somebody to follow around there. That's all I was worried, just so he had somebody to follow.
Well, in the Wood and the Florida Derby both, he broke very well and could have been heads up for the lead all the way into the first turn. Today was no exception, and I just wanted to make sure Funnyside got on the muscle and got into the front 2 horses before I eased back. He did, and as soon as I saw him pulling on Jose, then I took back and started stalking him.
All right, let's take apart the race now step by step. Here's what Bobby Frankel was talking about, what he thought was the key to the race. Look at Jerry Bailey down along the inside from post 1 with Empire Maker, and he immediately, going into the turn, gets Empire Maker off the rail. That did 2 things. First of all, the rail was deeper than the rest of the track. Also, Empire Maker prefers to be outside. Now, watch Jose Santos. Watch his posture. He's pulling hard, trying to rein in Funnyside, who is a little too eager. By contrast, Jerry Bailey sitting outside him with Empire Maker, nice and relaxed. It's tough enough to go a mile and a half, especially with a horse like Funnyside that doesn't have the classic distance pedigree. But when you're fighting the jockey a little bit, it's almost impossible. Now watch the difference here at the top of the stretch. Santos pumping his arms. Jerry Bailey sitting chilly aboard Empire Maker. Almost a replay of what the Wood Memorial looked like as the Empire Maker that day eased up outside of Funnyside. Santos goes to the whip at that point. It's too late. But here, Empire Maker begins to lose his concentration a little bit, just like the Wood. He jumps over to his left lead running leg, and right there it looks like he might be in trouble. But Bailey quickly switches whip to his left hand, straightens Empire Maker back out, gets him right back on his right lead, and he manages to hold off 10 Most Wanted and actually was slightly pulling away from him at the finish. I saw no excuse really for Funnyside other than being a little over anxious, but Jose Santos saw it a bit differently.
The horse was not handling the track at all. I was in trouble going to the first turn. He was switching leg back and forth, and it's a very tough race to win the Pisa Triple Crown. I mean, in 5 weeks you have the Kentucky there with the Preakness and the Belmont, and the Belmont is the test of the champion. Empire Maker was the best horse today, and but Funnyside be back. And another circumstances and a better track, we're going to be a different kind of race.
Did you and Barkley Tagg get to talk much after the race? Was there much really to say after the race with Barkley?
Yeah, we did. We talked about it a little bit, and he asked my opinion. I told my opinion was he was not handling the track, and we leave it up to that. And we'll be back.
Well, you know, the first time he's ever been on that kind of track, so you don't know. The rider I used in the morning said a couple days ago, God, he loved it when we put him out there on a similar type of track in the morning. He says, bet your money when this guy comes and rolling. And Pat did a perfect job. He rated him nicely. Couldn't have been better. And horse made a nice move, but it wasn't quite good enough.
Kurt Hoover and Janine Edwards talking with the Connections Saturday after the race, part of our ESPN coverage. But when will we see these horses square off again?
Well, they're all pointing for the Travers. So what a summer series it could be. You're looking at the Jim Dandy and the Haskell, of course, as preps for the Travers. Empire Maker probably in the Jim Dandy and Funnyside and Haskell. But if they all meet again in the Travers, including 10 Most Wanted and Dynevor and whatever other late developing 3-year-olds are thrown into the mix, could be sensational.
Yeah, the rivalry continues. All right, still to come on Long John Silver's Wire to Wire. Final Furlongs Part 1. More from a big day at Belmont. We'll fly over the fences with Trebizond. And later, Final Furlongs Part 2. We'll be back in just a flash.
This ESPN2 presentation of Long John Silver's Wire to Wire is brought to you by Long John Silver's. Dive into something new. Citgo, we know you. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. The Florida Department of Agriculture.
You and Kenny Mayne were anchored in at Belmont on Saturday, hoping that you wouldn't float away. And I guess the theme there was the show must go on.
Yeah, exactly. Because not only the Belmont Stakes, we were there, of course, for all the undercard races. And in our first of 2 Final Furlongs today, we'll focus almost exclusively on Belmont Park with a bonus coverage thrown in there at the end. Let's go in chronological order, more or less. Friday's Acorn Stakes featured juvenile filly champ Storm Flag Flying, trying to rebound from a loss against Birdtown and Lady Tack.
They're in the final furlong. Birdtown trying to hold on. Lady Tack in final round. Birdtown digs down. Lady Tack is surging to her. They're coming down to the finish. Birdtown is tenacious. As Lady Tack surges, here's the winner. Birdtown.
Kentucky Oaks winner Birdtown did it again, holding off Lady Tack, who had some traffic trouble. Storm Flag Flying dull again, a mystifying 5th in a field of 6. Birdtown, if you recall, stumbled at the start of the Oaks and rallied from off the pace that day in the Acorn. She broke cleanly and raced with the pace setters under Edgar Prado. Birdtown owned by Mary Lou Whitney, trained by Nick Zito. There's Mary Lou in the white. Her next start could be the Mother Goose. Also Friday, our first look at Belmont Park 2-year-olds, and this is a good one. Chapel Royal, $1.2 million buy in February for Michael Tabor and Derek Smith, is now 2 for 2 after this easy win in the Flash Stakes. John Velasquez up. He's reminiscent of another Todd Pletcher trained 2-year-old, More Than Ready, who won the Flash in '99 and followed that with wins in the Tremont and the Sanford. Now to Saturday in the elements. The 7 furlong True North Breeders' Cup went to another son of Mont Brook. That's the sire of Chapel Royal. This is Shake You Down, who survived an early battle and had enough left to hold off Highway Prospector. Scott Lake, Michael Gill, exacta. There's some irony. Shake You Down, a sensational 4 for 4 since being claimed for $65,000 by Lake back in March. Now he's being pointed, believe it or not, for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. He's not even a Breeders' Cup nominee. The turf course was a bog for the Just a Game Breeders' Cup handicap, which was fine for Mary Inskeep. She loves it. That's why she was entered in the race by Christophe Clement. She had just won the Sheep's Head Bay at Belmont over squishy turf 7 days earlier, and she beat a good field here, including runner-up Risk Averse, third place Wonder Again, fourth place Delta Princess, ridden by Jose Santos. Clement said he'll now look for a race next Saturday for Mary Inskeep. Back to the dirt for the 7-furlong Riva Ridge Stakes for 3-year-olds. A rematch between Midas Eyes and Posse.
With the 16th to go, Midas Eyes full out. Posse powers up on the outside. Ding Dong battle down to the line. Posse, Midas Eyes, either or, dead tight, too close to call.
Posse by a nose and a ground-saving ride by jockey Corey Lannery. Odds-on favorite Midas Eyes, trained by Bobby Frankel, had beaten Posse easily in the Swale Stakes in March, but obviously the Posse hadn't been completely rounded up at that point. The Beyer speed figure 111, so Midas Eyes ran his race. Posse, owned by the same people that lost the Acorn with Lady Tack. Older horses on turf in the Manhattan, one race before the Belmont.
As they come down to the last furlong, Raquette coming hard now on the outside. Cesarean between horses. Irish Colonial, Dr. Butler. They're coming down to the finish. Danon getting a bit leg weary late. Here's a final surge on the outside from Raquette. Here's the wire. Danon wins by a neck.
Danon and Jerry Bailey held off Raquette, giving Bobby Frankel a 1-2 finish that was just a preview of what would happen in the Belmont Stakes 40 minutes later. A couple of times last year, Danon would make the lead in the stretch and then get run down in the final yards like he loses his concentration, and Raquette almost caught him Saturday. But Danon held on for his 4th Grade 1 victory, Frankel's 2nd Manhattan in a row. He won it last year with Beat Hollow. Finally, Sunday's vagrancy handicap for fillies and mares. The conditions not much better. After a bunch of scratches, only 3 horses left to run. That Chocolate Mint in front, a New York bred. Chocolate Mint led from start to finish, and Chocolate Mint was the longest shot on the board. A big fat 4-1, ridden by Richard Migliore. She defeated 7-10 favorite Shine Again by a length and 3/4. Gold Mover third. They scratched her from the Affirm Stakes Saturday to run in this Grade 2 for $150,000. Now we go international. Here's our bonus. Saturday's $2 million Vodafone Epsom Derby. 20 horses at 1.5 miles. In front, that's Coolmore's The Great Gatsby and Pat Eddery, one of 4 Aidan O'Brien horses. But look out for Chris Ken and jockey Kieran Fallon. Chris Ken got up to win it. The 3rd Derby win for trainers Sir Michael Stout, and the 2nd for Kieran Fallon.
They are racing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that's where our journey in speed begins as we kick the gate in the Grade 2 Speed Horse Futurity at Fair Meadows. This one worth $265,000. The favorite would not be a factor, but that's not the case for Miss Racy Eyes. She came to play. Fast track, no wind. Here's the call.
And they're on. From the inside, Shake 'em Together shows first. Right alongside is Hoot Smith. On the outside, My Encore. Between horses, 6T Holland Full Speed. Along the grandstand side, Miss Racy Eyes up the rail. That's a Larkin Bell. They're lining up as they drive to the wire. Miss Racy Eyes in front.
Sent to the post at odds of 12-1. It's not just her first stakes win, it's her first win, period. Miss Racy Eyes is the 37 stakes winner for sire Mr. Eye Opener. Another long shot, My Encore, finished 2nd. The favorite, 6T finished up the track. First place paid $100,000. Sticking with Fair Meadows, a 3-year-old version of the Speed Horse. The favorite was also invisible here. And another long shot would steal the show. Q's Jazzy Corona. Here's the call.
Field is away in the Gold and Silver Cup Derby. And slow to begin with CRP Pretty Pennies. From the inside, it's IB Business and Jazzy Corona who are quickest into stride. The center of the track comes Corona Coquette on the outside, 20-20 type. But here comes Jazzy Corona to lead to the wire.
A little bit of problem there at the start. Jazzy Corona wins. She's an Oklahoma-bred daughter of Corona Cartel. She's a homebred for Betty Toombs. She was sent off at odds of 20-1, the 2nd highest price in the field. She's now 4 for 13 and won just over $92,000. The favorite, Frosty's Money Man, was 4th. Now to the first leg of the American Quarter Horse Racing Triple Crown, the Grade 1 Ruidoso Futurity, worth a smooth $500,000. The A-list didn't break on top, but once they opened the gates, the first down Express Gelding worked his way to the front. He catches Jess Rapid right at the wire to win by a head. It pays $250,000, and now he'll set his sights on the second leg of the American Quarter Horse Racing Triple Crown, the Rainbow Futurity. Finally, the 3-year-old version, the Grade 2 Ruidoso Derby, prize money $103,000. Southern Cartel made his bid on the outside. He jumped out front and would finally put away the second-place finisher, Granite Lake. Larry Payne won the speed horse on Saturday in Tulsa and the Ruidoso Derby on Sunday in New Mexico. First place paid $51,000. For more on American Quarter Horse Racing, give the AQHA a call at 1-800-414-RIDE. Still ahead on Wire to Wire. When we come back, we'll go over the fences, and later in the show, a preview of the NTRA Summer Pick 3. We'll be back in just a flash.
Everything he has, 10 Most Wanted right there with him. Here's the wire, and Empire Maker has won the 135th Belmont Stakes. He won it by a neck over 10 Most Wanted.
Back on Long John Silver's Wire to Wire Citgo leaderboard. These are the horses that catch some air. The leaders in money earned for Steeplechase, and right now Trebizond on top. Don't want to say too much because it might give away exactly where we're headed next on Wire to Wire. Weather has really wreaked havoc on the Steeplechase Triple Crown.
Yeah, I guess the trivia question would be, when is a Triple Crown not a Triple Crown? In this case, the second leg of the the Steeplechase Triple, the Joe Aitchison at Pimlico, had to be canceled because of soft turf. Trebizond won the hard scuffle at Churchill Downs, the first leg in the Triple Crown, and Trebizond came back Thursday in the Meadowbrook Stakes for what was to be ordinarily the final leg of the Triple. Trebizond wasn't the favorite, though. Senor Melchior, the 9-5 favorite. Trebizond was sent off as the second betting choice at odds of 7-2. Now, the Meadowbrook Stakes, 2.5 miles over 12 fences over soft turf. Talk about a grueling race. Let's pick up the call with Tom Durkin.
Hotspur beginning a steady advance as they move toward the final 2 furlong markers now. And it is Trebizond in front. Understood runs in second. Mr. Percolator down toward the inside. Hotspur is running fourth. They're coming now to the last 2 fences. And Trebizond didn't take the fence well, but he took it clear enough. Trebizond leads. He's just staggering, but well clear. Mr. Percolator trying to get to him. That's the final fence there. And it is Trebizond in front. Mr. Percolator is second. Blasphemy is coming on the outside. Now the dash down to the line with Trebizond in front. Trebizond has won.
Trebizond ridden by Tom Foley, who picked up the mount when jockey Rob Massey, who rode Trebizond in the hard scuffle, opted to ride Fighting Star instead. Trebizond, it's almost not fair. He wins the first and the last legs of the Triple, but he's not considered a Triple Crown winner. Here's some more from jockey Tom Foley.
We wanted to have him pretty close, but I didn't want to give the inside to anybody, and they kind of went very quick earlier on. I knew they were going too fast, and Dave Bentley's horse is pretty speedy, so I was figuring if I'm close to him, you know, obviously everybody else is going too fast. So I kind of tracked Dave because I really thought he was the danger in the race. And my horse had a great trip, smooth on the inside, and he likes to be kept competitive, so he's a little bit idle, but, you know, there was no pushing him today. He just went on about it as nice as he could.
I've raced here a lot of times. I never won a grade 1. I've been number 2 in a couple filly races in a grade 1s, but this is great. This is the first one.
The horse that Foley was talking about following, ridden by Dave Bentley, was Naughty Prince. He's an Irish-bred Trebizond, and Foley, as you could tell, is an Irish jockey.
Now for our NTRA Great Stakes segment, we kind of set the stage for the NTRA Pick 3, which is coming up this weekend.
Yeah, 3 big races as we preview, and beginning, of course, with a very good race at Churchill Downs, Stephen Foster.
You betcha, and the Bobby Frankel Aldebaran should be a factor here.
This is a horse that won in the mud there in the Met Mile. Before that, he won the Churchill Downs Handicap at Churchill, so you know he likes the track.
Well, Deberon, you can say his name 2 or 3 different ways. Mineshaft should be a player as well.
One of the top older horses in the country, coming off a muddy track win in the Stephen Foster. A lot of good horses in that field.
Now to Belmont Park, it will be the Brooklyn and Harlan's Holiday scheduled to work.
Harlan's Holiday will run against Sarland. He'll run against this horse, Ball Pony, of course. He was beaten by Speightstown in his first start of the year there, but won the Breeders' Cup Classic last year. Evening Attire also in the Brooklyn.
And also part of that Pick 3 from Delaware Park, the Leonard Richards.
Region of Merit, who won the Tampa Bay Derby, is pointing to that race, as well as Cherokee's Boy, Go Rockin' Robin, New York Hero, Lone Star Sky, Christine's Outlaw, mile and a 16th, Delaware Park, Saturday.
And here is the Summer Pick 3. You can see Belmont Park, Delaware Park, Churchill Downs. Kind of boom, boom, boom on those post times. See if you can pick 3 winners there. Other stakes going on around the country. Busy day at Hollywood Park, including the Grade 1 Charlie Whittingham. And at Churchill Downs, Also on Saturday, the Fleur-de-Lis there, Arlington Park, the Grade 3 Chicago Breeders' Cup Handicap action at Belmont Park as well. So a busy weekend of racing around the U.S. Still to come, Final Furlongs Part 2. We'll be right back.
This ESPN2 presentation of Long John Silver's Wire to Wire is brought to you by Long John Silver's. Dive into something new. Citgo, we know you. The American Quarter Horse Association, let freedom ride. By NTRA.com. Win a trip to the world premiere of Seabiscuit the movie at NTRA.com. Equibase.com, your official online source for racing information, from entries to results and everything in between. Equibase.com is a service of Equibase Company, the thoroughbred industry's official database.
We'd love to see you again next week on Long John Silver's Wire to Wire. Lots to talk about, including the Stephen Foster and the Brooklyn Handicap. First chance Tuesday at 2. For more, go to ESPN.com. With that, we kind of move on into Final Furlongs Part 2. No rain, just the Wild West.
Yeah, lots more to talk about here as well. Of course, Final Furlongs 1 was all Belmont Park, all slop, all soft turf, except for the Epsom Derby. We snuck that one in on you. Final Furlongs number 2, though, 3 more races we want to show you. 2 from Hollywood Park and 1 from Churchill. And we began Saturday, Hollywood Park, the Honeymoon Breeders' Cup Stakes, featuring a 10-horse field of 3-year-old fillies going 1 1/8 on the turf. The favorite at entry, headed by the Bob Baffert-trained Atlantic Ocean, ridden by Pat Valenzuela. That's her one off the rail.
Keto and Sharpville, 4 to the wire. Atlantic Ocean splits horses. Keto to the outside. These 2 to the wire. Keto, Atlantic Ocean, Keto, yes!
Keto, trained by Paulo Lobo, the Brazilian who last year brought us Farda Amiga. Some of the same owners, too. The ownership group called Old Friends, Inc. is headed by Julio Camargo. So you know some partying went on in Inglewood. Keto had just broken her maiden on the grass, and Tyler Bays rode her to this 10-1 upset victory over Atlantic Ocean. Same card earlier, Saturday, the 6 Furlong Desert Stormer Handicap, fillies and mares. That's Bear Fan in front after putting away favorite Jetta to Houston. She had a clear lead, but then along came Madame Pietra on the outside. And Pat Valenzuela got this one aboard Madame Pietra, who scored her 4th straight win. She's trained by Howard Zucker, owned by CT Grether, Inc. That makes her a stablemate of sprinter Crafty CT, except she rallied from last place to win it. And remember this horse, the Gray Senor Swinger? He didn't fire in the Preakness, but Bob Baffert put him back on the turf Saturday in the Jefferson Cup.
Senor Swinger opening up past the 8th pole, and he's drawing clear again to win nicely on the grass at Churchill Downs. Senor Swinger winning the Jefferson Cup, dominating.
Another powerful performance on the turf by Senor Swinger under jockey Robbie Alvarado. Also at Churchill Downs on the Kentucky Derby undercard, he won the Crown Royal American turf before they tried him on the Preakness. Just seems a little bit better on the turf. The Belmont had an unhappy ending for owners Bob and Beverly Lewis. They had Scrimshaw. But the Lewises got the Jefferson Cup at Churchill Downs with Senor Swinger.
And it was the last week to play the Citgo Pick 6 Challenge. 2 winners, but the grand prize winner, Gary Harper, as he picked 53 correct picks. Congratulations to Gary. For more, you can always go to ESPN.com, and it's kind of hard to believe that it's all over. The Belmont's all said and done, and no Triple Crown winner.
25-year wait, which matched the all-time record between Citation and Secretariat. Now we're going to have to wait at least 26, maybe 27, 28, 30. Who knows?
Who knows? The good news, though, Empire Maker wins, and that's big for Bobby Frankel as he wins his first Classic. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Wire to Wire.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
The black